Okay, we are live. Okay, well, I am starting a hangout tonight. We just got finished up talking to Wayne for a little while in one of his hangouts. Very, very educational and enjoyable. I am just starting this because I don't have the wherewithal or inclination to sit there and get into a long conversation on the computer with various individuals who trying to say that horizontal gene transfer somehow invalidates evolutionary theory. Um, so yeah, and the other thing is that I'm a bigot now for actually refuting bad science and telling people that the Earth isn't 7,000 years old. How that becomes a federally protected class or in any way has anything to do with bigotry, I do not know, but I'm going to own it anyways. And so we are the bigots against bad science, and we are going to be bigoted tonight. So let's be bigoted and hate bad science and treat it for the evil thing that it truly is, because it dumbs down everybody and brings everybody down with it. So we are here. We got Kage, we got Istis, we got MMA, we got Rigger, and if you're not here, well, screw you. So, anyways, how you doing all?
We was
Good.
kegs. We was kegs.
I'm still breathing despite my own best efforts. Oh, wow. Sorry, I don't sound quite right tonight. I've got some sort of a bug the kids brought home. So
Do you know that the Egyptians were Africans?
yes, as a matter of fact, I did.
You know the Norse too. Odin, African.
Fucking Odin was a fucking top lad cunt.
Japanese too. All the Japanese and karate came from Africa, right?
Okay, now you're getting more and more ridiculous.
All right, well, this is taking a dive right now. Anyways, yes, I am here twice. One is on my tablet. The other one I have to do it for the live feed because Android does not allow you to start Hangouts or control Hangouts. I don't know why. Hey, Jules here. So
Anyway, that bigotry word is one that gets thrown about way too often. If you don't agree with somebody, generally the way to shut them up is to call them a bigot.
It is.
You're a racist bigot.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, nobody seems to be able to apply the word correctly.
It's an irrational belief towards a person or ideological system. If I say that I hate Muslims and I very much against Islam or any other religion, that can be construed as a form of bigotry. If I point out the errors in Islam as far as how dangerous they could be, that's a different story. And if I point out that the science that these young earthers are doing is wrong, that's not bigotry. And speaking of bigots, Joe Sonstein, yes, awesome.
Well, if it's younger creationism, you should check out younger creationist websites and check out their textbooks they're sending. There you'll see bigot stuff.
What? They have textbooks now? What?
They have a whole bunch of. See, this is the other thing you guys need to
Innocent people.
They have textbooks and they have material that they hand the kids that tax dollars actually go to pay that refer to.
Here in Australia they have that.
Yeah. Also, I didn't even think about it in Australia, but in America, they refer to the sons of Ham, no, it's not the sons of Ham, sons of Japheth as the sons of Japheth. Oh wow.
Well, it's textbooks for homeschooled kids.
Talking about the Negroid and the
yes, Oriental.
The Oriental and the they have various names for them. The Mongoloid.
And apartheid South Africa were all up on the young Earth creationism because they felt that
Australia.
Someone did.
Is that secular?
Yes, it was Australia. Who was it?
Yeah, I did.
Hey, MMA.
Is massive
Question
here.
for you on the subject of Australia.
Hold on.
MMA.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. It's this thing about Australia. What is it about Australia? What is it? Tell me.
What?
Are you okay?
I've got a question.
General, what did you say about Australia?
No. I was echoing what Joe was
agreeing with
saying
me.
that the young Earth material is huge. That they actually teach this sort of thing in private Christian schools here in Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah.
I do not have a live chat open because I can't really do it very easily where I have my system set up right now. But I do have external chat. So if people do want to get in, I'm leaving one spot open for any kind of creations want to come in. But anyways, I always do that. So
Are you
we'll
at
figure
a
that out.
Chuck E.
Okay.
Cheese or something?
Can
What's
I
that
ask my
noise about?
question,
Yeah,
please,
Kage.
MMA?
I don't know. Okay. There's so much.
Go for it, cunt.
I'm,
Go ahead.
I'm waiting to ask my question, and then I'll shut up again.
Go ahead.
Do they still have the ministers in the public schools over there in Australia, or did they finally manage to put the kibosh on that?
The ministers in the public schools.
You mean chaplains?
Yeah, them critters.
Like we've got.
Chaplains. Chaplains are. Oh, Monsanto, you're in Australia as well.
Yeah, cunt. Yeah, Brisbane.
Oh.
Is this just like all the Australian people realizing that they're all from Australia? Hang out?
Most likely.
Yeah. My school had chaplains and they're big there. So yeah, a lot of.
Come at
a
me,
lot of
bro.
the
Come at
province-
me.
Yeah, I'm an American, and we're gonna stick with American stuff because I'm a bigot.
You're a bigot? I thought that it was just Ludic that was called.
No, I have to remain my imperialistic borders, and so it's all about us. You guys don't even exist. I don't even know how you guys even stay attached to the Earth. I mean,
Yeah, because Steve Jesus came to the States, right?
Well, who's calling you a bigot? What's the point of this?
Steve, I will happily take a one-way ticket off this rock along with my family if I could get one.
Yeah, I know, man. I guess Al Alcher, Tommy Hall, and Michael Land, the three geniuses of YouTube.
Hey, Michael Land is a saint. I won't. You can talk about the other two, though. Go ahead.
Okay, she may be really nice. I have no idea, but she promotes some dumb shit, dude. Come on, let's be realistic.
She's a sweetheart. I disagree with what she promotes, but the way that she's reacted with Nadia is a different.
Suck you in, though, man.
I'm crapping. Yeah, right. Patrick is exactly.
Train of thought, because I'm not attacking or criticizing her personally.
Just go. You're right. Just go.
But they somehow think that I'm a bigot for arguing against young Earth creationism. And I'm not quite understanding where they're coming from with that, because this is about evidential science. It's not about their religious beliefs. I'm fine with people's religious beliefs. Believe what you want, but that's a belief. That is not science. And Joe, you asked me in the side chant, I would have to ask, you asked me something like, what's my best evidence for evolution, or my four best evidence? What was that one in regards to?
I was thinking of, I'm trying to put together trying to fuse together my argument and for explanationism and taking the best evidence that someone who I thought would be like, bam, here it is, Joe. I'm totally your right hand man. Got the ball, by the way. But
talking evolutionary theory, talking about common descent. I mean,
just evolutionary theory, man. Just evolution as a model, because the whole point of my argument is that evolution is a better explanatory. It's a better scientific model.
Okay. How about this? You listened to my debate, right? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was maybe it would be better if I told you the explanatory power. I want to focus on the explanatory virtues, but you were in the middle of something. I don't want to just go on a completely different topic.
Well, it's up the alley of the predictive modeling. Are you familiar with timetree.org?
Timetree? No, I'm not actually.
Timetree.org is a really good site, and what it does is it allows you to put two different taxon levels in. So,
okay.
This is a common ancestor of two taxons. It'll tell me approximately what time it existed. And then we can use that to look in the strata and find fossils for that.
It's so cool.
I've
never heard of that before.
It's okay. You have to be really careful in using it because it doesn't really mix cladistic phylogeny very well, and certain clades are not in there. I would stick with more phylogeny and then go from there. But so you got to be real specific in your type of uses. Put in orders and families and stuff like that, and go from there. Or you can put two different species in, and it can tell you the last common ancestor.
Well, now I understand why they think you're a bigot, man.
Oh.
Man, that was just shameful what you did, man. That was very racist and bigoted, man, towards those people.
Well, you say this payroll, so I gotta pull my weight, Patrick.
Well, so the thing
I would
is,
tend to agree.
okay, usually the argument is there's several different virtues of a good explanatory model. 4 of them that are pretty good to focus on are: a model is simple, a model fits well with our background knowledge or has goodness of fit, a model has explanatory power, or it's very informative, and it has predictive novelty. And so I think that's a good way to frame an argument against intelligent design, because it kind of makes them have to, just deal with the fact that evolution just explains so much more and covers so many different topics, and it's not enough just to go, here's a specific thing that hasn't been explained yet by science. You have to try and show how, okay, well, it's not only did we point out that here's a specific thing that they haven't explained yet, but intelligent design also explains all of this, and they can't do it. They can't do it.
I would make the argument there's a slight distinction between being parsimonious and the law of parsimony.
How dare you just throw out parsimony, because I didn't say parsimony at all.
Oh, you did.
Different. No. Simple is different from parsimony.
The first thing you said. You said simple.
I didn't say parsimony. Simple is different from parsimonious, though.
Yeah, but you imply that sort of infers a parsimonious explanation.
It depends on what kind of parsimony you're right. It's a quantitative or qualitative.
Okay, I'm saying that for the law of parsimony, you have to have 2 equally explanatory modeling. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Well, the thing is,
parsimonious, and evolution is parsimonious.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with saying it's parsimonious.
Yeah.
So why don't you use it?
Well, you think that it would be worse if I say simple, actually? Just say parsimonious?
I think parsimonious implies more. Because it implies simple, and it also implies that it basically takes everything you said and puts it in one word. Because to be parsimonious, it has to agree with other data, and it has to be simplistic, and it has to be explanatory. So parsimonious fits all. You
made a good point in that when you say simple, that actually kind of confuse some people. Think, well, this is what someone brought up to me. Quantum mechanics isn't simple, and that is a better explanatory model. And it's hard to explain what exactly you have to kind of watch out for that. But if you say parsimony, it is more exact. You're right.
Yes, I totally would say that, because simple, they might get the misunderstanding that it means it's easy to understand, and that does not what simple means. Simple just means it agrees with our data. It is a non. It doesn't. It's not overloaded with a bunch of other assumptions we don't need.
Yeah, you're right. And the way I would explain it would be pretty much like parsimony. Anyways, I was going to say there's not all these extra entities. It has the theory that posits the fewest entities is usually considered the simplest, right?
And I listened to your debate with True, obviously, and I also just recently listened to one with Al Alcher.
Yeah.
Which I was bored with.
Which you were what? My mic also sucks, so I don't even listen to it.
I mean, Al and I've been going back and forth with him for a while. I don't think
Steve?
What's that one?
I was going to say, I wanted to actually elaborate there on the parsimony. Basically, when it comes to parsimony, it's the I am trying to remember. Oh yes, it's the explanation that contains the fewest assumptions, not contains the fewest entities, because an entity is something that we can define by logic. Surely, but that's just a logical syllogism. Whereas assumptions can color an argument.
Accidentally. Exactly. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, Joe said that I said assumptions, and he agreed. And I understand he was just using the word colloquially. He's not.
My bad. I should have been more precise. You made a good point, bro.
Thank you.
Oh man, you talk so fast. You should go into debating yourself, man.
I love that about Enlightened in a way that he has so much knowledge that his brain is like on overload, just has to like get out.
But
Well,
he
yeah.
can what he
And
says you can
I know I
understand
talk really
him.
slow.
Yeah, because he's not an idiot. He doesn't throw words together randomly. He actually makes coherent sense. But yeah, Enlightened, that's one thing you could work on is just slowing down your tempo, and I think you would wreck it. I mean, you would just freaking kill.
Yeah.
When he did the intro, when he did the intro for you, Steve, when you did that debate with Wayne,
I was
before we had to
blown away by
migrate, yeah, I'm like, holy fuck, that was quick.
I think I was right after my outro out debate, and I'm like, I should have gotten this guy. Although Brandon introed me, and I like Brandon too. I don't know what
Yeah.
you got.
We're working on that with Enlightened because I mean I want to see Enlightened start doing debates because like I said I think the world of them and I think that he would just wreck people. But getting back to what I was saying about Alistair Howard and you, Alistair Howard never once ever made any legitimate arguments. He never ever really I think got on topic with you. He's not. I mean, he's not like over the top. He's not like belligerent. He's not like the other creationists where he's just a real asshole. He just really doesn't have anything to offer. I mean, did you listen to what he had his interview, his thing with Sam the scientist? Did you listen
No,
to
I
it?
only listened to him with
It was pretty
Scholar
bad.
Fiction.
Yes, Sam took him to school a little bit, and he took him to task a little bit, and it was kind of funny because okay, I got the panel here, so I'm gonna ask a question, then I'm gonna let you guys talk about it. So here's my question
Oh
to you.
wow, paneling.
Yeah, we have my panel, like go-to people. So the question was, or the thing was that Sam had asked Owl was, okay, for intelligent design, what would be the null hypothesis? Intelligent, I mean, excuse me, Al had no idea what that meant. He lived, and I'm not disparaging somebody's knowledge, but when I asked him about it, he said, "Well, I'm an engineering student, and I have a lot on my mind." And I'm like, "Wow, that makes it like 1,000 times worse. You're an engineering student, and you don't know what a null hypothesis is, and you're engaging in a scientific discussion. You don't see a problem with this." So, um, my question is, if somebody is like in these debates and they don't have a basic thing of science. I mean, what do we do? I mean, do we continue with them or do we just say, hey, this is something that like a first grade person should know and then move on? I mean, do we give them? I mean, what do we do? I mean, it's just I don't see how you continue a conversation with
Well,
somebody.
basically, just educate them. I mean, I wouldn't beat around the bush. Just educate them and speak. Like I'm not saying you don't speak respectful. I'm just speaking generally here. So educate them and just teach them like how a teacher would in a respectful manner, and then they listen. But if they have an agenda, this is where, depending on the person, I guess, either some people will lose their patience and be like, "Oh crap! Like, do I continue this in a harsh manner, or do I continue this in a like a quote saintly manner?"
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's what Sam did actually. He explained it to him basically. But I mean, here's the person that's calling me a bigot, and a dumb bigot, and I'm like, you don't know what a null hypothesis is, and you're quote unquote an engineering student, and I think
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. There's a couple things. I think first of all, I think he did make an argument in my debate. It's just it wasn't. He didn't really know how to respond to what I said, nor did he. And I also think that he seems younger than his voice gives the impression of, in my opinion. I can see him as just not being able to articulate what the null hypothesis is right away to you, and feeling kind of, or was it Sam? To Sam, I don't know. He did give an argument. It just wasn't. I didn't think it was that very good, and it was
I don't know.
all
I don't
resting
call what he
on
put in
the
an argument.
concept of causality.
Yeah, he posited a position about causality, and he actually made some mistakes on it. Again, one of the mistakes he made was he said something along the effect that what was it? That information that we have every cause, there's an effect, and there's maybe we just don't know what the effect is. Something along those lines. And he had mentioned quantum mechanics. You remember that? It was like the second thing. He had two postulates, and the second one was mechanics.
That sounded like someone who was just excited to talk about quantum mechanics. That's why I didn't really bother talking to him, because I don't know how it fit in either.
It was disjointed, It had nothing to do with the topic, and the problem is he was wrong on it because in quantum mechanics, and we have no physicists here, the hidden model is not the model. We understand that there's no information in the system prior to certain quantum mechanical events, such as radiological decay, spontaneous fission. These have no information in the system. It's not this we just don't know, or we really cannot ever know. Science and physics will not allow us to ever know. And he just kind of like changed it all around to just try to assert the cosmological argument.
No, well, there's a slight difference between the. Oh, go ahead, Patrick. You haven't talked to him.
I'd like to say something. I don't know how do you put it from the undereducated side of this conversation. Okay.
Oh, stop that, dude.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I don't personally understand most of the arguments in these for the most part, right? I can kind of grasp where people are going in a way, but I don't understand. Like I love watching lectures, or I have a hard time. Well, I'd be reading sometimes, explaining what I've heard, right? And I get that, right? That's why I stay out of these arguments because I don't want to look as dumber than I already, anyway. But what I find funny, as somebody that's not scientifically accurate and stays out of the game, I love and can point out bullshit people that I don't know, found a word somewhere or read an article and all of a sudden they're science majors, right? I love those are the ones that I just, but why do you do it? What's your crossing line? Do you debate them if you think they're actually legitimate, or if they're pose, or if they just don't know what they're talking about?
Who are you talking to me?
Well,
anybody. I'm just throwing something out there. I'm sorry.
Okay. From me personally, they're the ones who are making the claim, so I'm going to challenge the claim. It's as simple as that.
I just like debating. I think it's really fun. An issue in the last debate. An issue in the last debate was, and this has happened in the past. True empiricism thought I was smirking at him in the debate, and I smirked at a couple things. But like, it's weird thinking about this, and I'll sound frustrated, and I'll come into other rooms later being all frustrated about. But like, I have fun, so I'm like just sitting there, just thinking about it. It's fun to argue. It's fun to like.
You're not allowed to be emotional.
Well, it's not that, but I can see how me
at
smirking. I can see how me smirking could come off as me just like being like.
And you like the structured debates, Joe. See, and I don't. I'm not a big fan of them. But I can see the appeal. But I mean, I did that one time with Wayne, but I may again. I don't know. I doubt it. But
that's the other thing, though. Like these people, they fall apart into structured debates. Like you saw, like G-Man. Like he was a mess.
Well, G-Man's nothing more than a lol cat now.
But the thing is, these people, they get away with things when you're in an informal setting because they can bully someone. Or because, I mean, he wasted his whole time just so he can wait until it was the Q&A section. So he wasted almost 40 minutes in order to use 15 minutes.
So what is G-Man's argument?
Well, his argument
this is probably the third time I'm hearing his name, and he seems to be a big name around here.
Don't say his name more than 3 times.
If you watch his earlier debates, he actually does run some arguments. There's a debate where he says he lost, and Cliff and I were looking at it, and he like runs like a presup argument. He brings up topics and stuff, but his argument in the debate that I had with him was reduced to saying he doesn't need to present evidence because it's already been presented by others on the internet, and he doesn't want to just keep on repeating things. But then he also presents evidence, and his evidence is really bad. He presents the argument from prayer that he has, and the argument from faith and prophecy. And,
they're really bad arguments on. They've been torn enough. I mean, they've been ripped into for a very long time.
People say that. I mean, it's not. People say it was like. So far, it was my. I also like performed well in it.
I will check it out when I get a chance.
Hogtie loved it. I remember, like Hogtie like came into a room and said, "I thought you were like one of those stupid drunken peasants people. So I'm like, oh, okay, the debate G-Man is gonna be some stupid idiot going science rocks, but you did really well. And I'm like,
Our guy.
well, like
I was hoping Gordon Freeman would be included in all of this.
You were hoping who? Sorry.
I was hoping Gordon Freeman would be included in all of this.
Oh, because he wouldn't say anything, would he?
Gordon Freeman.
Exactly, you got my joke.
Must be an English joke or something. I don't know.
No,
Gordon
actually, it's
Freeman, he's
have
from
has anyone? Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was equating G-Man with the game, yeah. And Gordon Freeman says nothing. And so that's why, anyway.
General Han Solo, your solid dome argument, I was so bummed I wasn't there because I used to try and run that against Neff, but Neff just would kick me when I tried to run what Rakia means, and there's plenty of evidence that they clearly saw it as like a dome sky. But
yeah, did you see my debate with Kent?
With who?
Ken Hovind.
Did you see my debate with Kent Hovind?
No, I want to see. Is it on your channel or where is it? I'm gonna.
You seem really excited. Where did you hear me speak about this?
I love this stuff, man. This is like the funnest stuff for me.
I want to link to that.
Yeah, I mean you're surrounded by people who love that.
We should note to Han.
Okay, it's on Wayne Filmer's YouTube channel, and you'll see Kent Hovind feat Han Solo or something. That's like his second latest video.
You know, we should note to you real quick though. Be careful, Han. When you go into these other people's hangouts like G-Mans and Netflix, you gotta remember one thing: they mute and boot if you start making them look bad. That's not what they do every single time. And it just most people won't even engage anymore. I've literally watched these people sit in a hangout with like one person or nobody. Darwin's Deity used to make hangouts and they sit there for like 20 minutes waiting for somebody to come in. It's just nobody wants to engage with them because they're dishonest, and they would just.
Yeah.
I only mute when it gets out of hand, gets boisterous, but I don't eject somebody for making a valid argument. I'm like, oh shit, that's a good argument. Let me go check it out.
Joe, when you find it, can you link? Give me a link.
Oh god, it's Wayne Fillmore. Right?
Oh, Wayne Fillmore. Okay.
Yeah, it's the guy that Steve debated. Hey, I can't pass up this.
The link I'll post in the chat.
I'm gonna go and talk with Tommy Hall and True Empiricism with Cliff, and Cliff is like a genius machine, but
when now?
Now, yeah, he
But
True Empiricism
Joe,
has a room.
before you go,
Yeah.
How did you know I spoke about the Rakia?
It was last night. People told me about it. You were talking
Oh,
with
right,
Mac,
okay.
right? Yeah.
Well, tell him hi.
Yeah.
Right? Tell him and True.
Okay, I'll tell him hi.
Tell Tommy I love him. Okay, I mean I'm not bashing on Tommy. I mean he's thinking I was bashing on him the other night. I'm like, Tommy, you say stupid shit, man. I mean you really do. Come on.
Tommy and I have always gotten along. Tommy's usually
I get along with Tommy. We're just like foils with each other. But you know, sometimes I gotta say enough, Tommy. When he said that whole pedophile thing with the atheist, I was going across the line. You know, and occasionally he says stupid shit. So.
We got on him pretty hard about the consent thing, but okay, all right. I got
horizontal gene transfer, will you? And why it's not a big deal.
All right, take care, guys.
See you, Joe.
Is he gonna have a
Gotcha.
conversation with Tommy?
Yeah, I guess he's gonna go talk to Tommy, True.
Okay,
and,
go on.
Tommy,
May science have mercy on his soul.
He really does get into the fray. I'll give him that.
Which is ironic because, scientifically speaking, the soul doesn't exist.
Fuck! I'm sick of True Empiricism, Tommy Holland shit. Fuck that.
Why is he insisting true empiricism is something that atheists go by, or is that even his argument?
So what?
Does he actually believe that atheists go off of true empiricism in order to establish their propositions, or am I misreading his argument?
Wait, is that what Tom Hall's saying?
True empiricism. True empiricism is Ronnie.
Yeah, fucking no, he's a fucked up. And that's the end of it. I'm sick of that one. Arrogant little worm.
But no, I go along with True. I mean, I don't really engage with him because he just gets so fixated on that intelligent design argument, and it just literally goes nowhere.
I just watched something that you liked on G Plus, and it was from Fiona, and it was like from February last year. But someone uploaded about his position on intelligent design, and it goes for like a minute or so, and it's like a spam of fast words or some shit. I just laughed so hard.
Yeah, Dragnot translated one of the things he said, and it was just rambling, and basically he'll pick up some words and then throws them out there, and it just I swear to you, it just drives me freaking nuts because nobody gives a shit about freaking helicase or DNA ligase, okay?
Next time I'm gonna have a shot. I'm gonna do a drinking game whenever I'm watching live. It has to be either I'm in the hangout or I'm watching it live, and I will do a fucking drinking game with every time he says beta clamps or some shit like that. I'll get fucked, but I will.
And he thinks that's all there is to it. I remember, the last hangouts ago, it brought up something about DNA enzymatic repair, and I looked into it before, so I was kind of familiar with at least what it is, obviously. And when I first looked into that, there's a channel called iBiology, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, very good.
That shit is freaking hard. There's no damn way that the average person who has no formal training is going to DNA double strand repair using like ATM and all these. There's like how many? What is it? MRN1, MRN11. What the hell? There's like all these different go in and they function as a unit to fix the helix, the double helix. That whole process, you have to have a goddamn PhD to even understand the basics of that.
Are you talking about iBiology? It's very basic stuff. It breaks it down pretty well.
They have some pretty complicated stuff in there. If you look at the enzymatic DNA repair for breakage, that is very complicated how that works.
What's going on to their playlists? I suppose.
I don't remember what ATM stood for. I just remember some kind of enzyme. But I mean, I've watched them, but they are very complicated. They're not that easy to understand. How that how you have the spliceosome come in, it actually it takes the whole section out. Then you have an enzymatic repair polymerase that comes in and reforms it, and it's nothing that the average person's ever going to really know about, or why would they?
Oh, well, not the average. No, definitely not.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. I think though that they do good diagrams and whatnot when the person's speaking behind the diagrams that pop up. I think they do explain it very well. But yeah, I suppose it can be hard for the average person.
Yeah, well, I'm not disagreeing with that, but if you have no formal, if you don't know the basics, for example, I mean, you have to start off with basic stuff. Okay, they don't know A, T, C, and G, right? So if I say adenosine, people know that's a nitron, it's a space, right? But then you say, okay, well, how does that affect? What's the nucleoside? Okay, well, that's the base with the sugar, okay, and then you have adenosine. And then what's the next step? Okay, well, let's move up to the phosphate backbone. So now I have a nucleotide, and that's now adenosine monophosphate. Everything builds upon something else. And if you don't know the initial things, all these other terms mean nothing. They're just words to throw out, like polymerase. Okay, what the hell is the difference between polymerase and synthetase and telomerase? Nobody's going to fucking know or care. I don't. I kind of know the difference, but I don't. It means nothing to me an intelligent design argument. I hear them thrown out all the time, and I'm like, why? Why are you telling me about fucking helicase and why it breaks the hydrogen bonds? I don't care. Explain to me the predictive modeling of intelligent design or something.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And he won't. He'll never do that anyway. But what was I going to say?
Steve.
Yes, sir.
I'll just be right back. All right. Send me a private message if anything crops up, and I'll probably come back.
Do it while I'm hanging out because I tab out, it crashes.
Wait, you're dropping out. Sorry, say that again.
I can't send you a message while I'm on air. Sometimes when I'm doing it like this, when I'm hosting it, because my computer, if I tab out to do a private message, it crashes.
That's fine. That's all right. I'll probably just play it in the background then, and yeah.
If we get a creationist that wants to come in, though, then I'll let you know, and maybe you can make room for him. Sherry,
yeah, that'll be fun.
You want to join in?
Sure. Hello.
What's up, man?
Where shall I join in?
I'm doing my bit. I'm praying for an atheist to join us.
Oh, thank you, Sydney.
Welcome.
Some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers, though.
All right, Garth.
Yeah, you have to log it in your prayer book. So that's where your evidence for divinity is that the prayers in your prayer book come true. Like, pray for a safe filled with money.
I pray for a safe. No, G-Man will find it. No.
Fuck.
So what else you guys got? Obviously, like I said, we're now all. I mean, I'm gonna extend my bigotry to everybody. So now you're all bigots because
We are the bigots of fucking.
I'm not a bigot. I'm a racist.
You're a racist. You're a bigot. You're a shit.
It's only gay if you're in a three-way with MMA.
Man, I'll bring all the boys, man. Just, them sexy abs.
Well, you know what they say, boys will be boys,
I'm still praying.
I kind of wish I could be a fly on the wall with and hang out at the same time and see what Monsanto MMA was talking to Tommy and True about.
Are they on live, or are they just having a little private chat?
If we had room, I'd just tell them to come over here, but we don't have room for them all.
We have room. I'll step out and watch from the
True is running his own little thing, so let him play. It's funny. That's what Tommy does. He goes, and talks to Neffy and talks to True, and he gets these arguments, and then he comes back and tries to utilize them, and then we try to clarify what he means. Like, for example, there's a thread going on with Hogtie is asking Tommy, what do you mean by random? Tell us what you mean. When we say random and deterministic and stochastic, we mean certain things. And he just says, well, you guys claim, oh shit, man, I gotta log back on.
He starts asking questions and he starts deflecting.
Random is like that lottery ball machine. Random numbers just pop up. You know what I mean? Maybe that's, the kind of random he means, Like if there's 10 numbers, one of them's randomly going to pop up. But I could be wrong,
You could be wrong and it could be totally different, yeah.
I know, yeah, but, it's just a way of, that could be how, sometimes, when people use a word like random, right? Oh, it was randomly selected, right? Well, how are they looking at random? Like I said, is it the
natural,
the lottery ball thing?
No,
their concept of it.
Well, that's the important thing, though, is that selection is not random. Actually, selection is inside of a rather static environment, so it's actually quite non-random. The random part is the mutations and the genetic variation.
Okay, yeah.
Even then, we can say, you have to. Even Dawkins gets into, what degree is the mutation random. What do we mean by is it random? It's still chemical processes, and it still has a different effect on.
That's a very fair point. Yes.
For the fitness of the organism, is it neutral? Is it beneficial? Is it harmful?
After all, chemistry itself is rather organized.
The rule of thumb now is basically if we don't have the information to determine the outcome, that's considered to be
Yeah,
random.
not only is it deterministic or organized, it's deterministic actually in its definition.
Yes. If you throw a dice, if you really think about it, it's not really random. It's random to us because we're missing information. That's why we
Right.
call it random. But if you could calculate all the forces
Right.
on the die and the vectors, then you could actually determine the outcome.
Right.
I think the reason that they want to stigmatize the whole concept of randomness or the appearance of randomness in a genetic mutation is because ultimately I think it's because they don't want to feel like or even admit the possibility that they themselves are the products of those same processes. They want to feel that they were specially created. But that's my theory anyway.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
the word random, and a lot of times, I've watched a lot of debates, but the difference in the meanings of a lot of words, like reason, logic, you see a lot of things, right? I won't even go to the R word because that's not this discussion, but a lot of people, creationists do it, flat earthers do it. Everybody does the, well, scientifically, if you use the science method or something, or reasonably, this would mean this, or if you think logically, you'll think, this will happen, or, so a lot of times just the definition of words is so different in these debates, it's almost comical sometimes, I
Well,
mean, no offense to people that do it, but it's just a lot of times I see you guys or people that debate, and I don't know science or do science in their job or went to school and or, know these things. It's got to be like like beating your head against the wall, or is it like kicking the little kid, the little.
It feels like you're kicking. You're in a race, and say like you're really fast. You're Usain Bolt, and you're versing retards, and you win a race. You turn behind, those kind of people, and you're like, you don't feel as good. You feel kind of guilty. It's like that.
Yeah,
You feel
almost like, oh yeah, wow, you beat up the.
the cripple.
Yeah, don't you feel like a man?
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Well,
yeah,
debating a fool is like spitting on a fish. That's what it
like
is.
what?
Debating a fool is like spitting on a fish. That's all there is to it.
Random really just describes the selection of one element of a distribution in one particular event. And one of the problems that most people get hung up about randomness being a part of it is that they focus on the one event where it did happen instead of recognizing that within the chaos milieu of all of the Earth or all of the universe or whatever, there are all these random events happening simultaneously, and it's statistically probable that one event will end up being the chance event, that mutation that moves forward to